Greetings, good afternoon everyone. Cheryl Phoenix here from the Black Child Agenda and the African Child Agenda. Happy New Year. Today is Ethiopian New Year, the 11th of January 2022, and belated Happy New Year for all of you who celebrate on the 1st of Jan. Now, first of all, let me apologize because I know that you guys have been donating, and only over the last 2 weeks I've had to go through every single email to copy them and bring them over so that I can send you this message today. So it's been a very painstaking task, but it has been worthwhile, and I couldn't allow the new year to continue without actually saying thank you very much, and also congratulations for actually having, not even congratulations, just more thank you for having the faith and the trust in me and ourselves as a community to be able to do something different about the situation that we see going on in the UK with our young people. The fact that you guys have taken that leap to know that we need to build our own futures and we need to build our own alternative. No one is going to do it for us. As you can see, today is my dashiki day. I'm staying in. I've stayed in the house all day. As you can see, I'm sweating because it's so hot, and I know it's really cold over there. And I said that deliberately just to make you a little bit jealous. Anyway, let me give you an update on what's actually been going on here, because the only reason I haven't been in touch is because I have been super busy. As well as being super busy, I've also managed to network with some people, understanding the lay of the land. And it's not something you can really do if you're only here for a week, 2 weeks, which is what I was supposed to come here for. Being here for exactly a year and 4 days has given me a greater insight of understanding the cultural differences we have between us as African Caribbeans in the UK or wherever we are, and being African here on the continent. First of all, they don't see us the same. They see us as Obronis, i.e. white people. But with all that said and done, it doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, the work that we want to do, they're appreciative for and want to work with us to do so. So let me give you a quick snapshot. I've made myself a little cup of soup of what's been going on. So what I've been doing is, I don't know if any of you see my social medias with some videos I've been sharing on, you know, the initial video you saw which prompted you to act was we need to build a school and we need to build one as an alternative. So whilst I'm waiting, we're on about 2,000 sterling, and I'm trying to, remember I said to you it was 10,000. But we're on about 2 and we have 8,000 to go. At least if we get up to 5, I'll be able to start, you know, at least mapping out something and putting some bricks down. So what I've been doing in the interim whilst we're trying to fundraise is running a Saturday school with the young people that attend schools here. Now, the Saturday school is supposed to be for 3 hours, but it runs for 6 because the teachers love it, the children love it, and no one wants to go home. I fully kitted out all of the children with their own specially made uniforms. Everyone's uniform was tailor-made to them, boys and girls. And if you go on the socials, there's some pictures in this email I've sent you that gives you an idea of what it looks like. We're supposed to have 50 children, we have 55. There are 6 teaching staff. The children are fed every single Saturday. We have someone that cooks their food for them every Saturday, fresh, that they have lunch. Because unfortunately, the reality is that many children here go to school hungry. Many children here cannot afford to even purchase school uniforms, which is why a lot of them don't even go to school. So we've given them something. Many of the children were 10. I've got the ages of 5 to 10. Could not read or write their own names. After the initial 6 weeks that we started back in May or July, that was the initial 6 weeks. By the end of that 6 weeks, they were reading fluently in English and writing their names, being able to multiply and doing a lot of good stuff. So I'm really happy about that. They just needed that extra support. What we're also doing is a feeding program. We feed 570 children every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. No, not individually, 570 for the week, per week, breakfast. Because the thing is, education here is free, lunch is supposed to be free, but I don't know what's going on between the government and that money getting to schools to make sure that children are actually getting a proper breakfast. A lot of parents can't afford to feed their children. So I said, they're not going to concentrate if they're hungry. And we opened a feeding program. So 570 children on their way to school are given breakfast at least so that they can actually concentrate throughout the day, and that's going really well as well. Now, with regards to the school itself, the vision is this: a school of STEM. Right, and I'm not poking my tongue at you. What this is: science, technology, engineering, arts, i.e. movie production, video production, photography, even arts, theatre, drama, music, singing, all the things that we do naturally, that is always stolen from us and resold back to us. We are going to create it for us, by us. So the arts, maths, standard, and languages. Because the one thing is, unless you have African parents or Caribbean parents from one of the other tongues like Spanish or French, which isn't our tongue, but you get the drift, many of us don't know another language. Now, if we're trying to train and equip our children to be part of the competitive global marketplace, then we need to speak a language. So what I've decided, and this could change later on, but as a foundation, we're going with English. For those here that don't speak English, we're going with Tree for our children that are coming over, because it is an international school. We're going with French, because whether we like it or not, the continent has been colonized, and with that colonization also came different languages. We're going with Mandarin, because again, this continent is being colonized by the Chinese, and we need to be competitive. So why I've chosen this area is going to be a specialist school around these subjects. Why? Because we as a community are the biggest consumers on the planet. We don't produce anything or near enough anything and sell it at a competitive rate to the rest of the world. Right now, Africa is still on embargoes. We've got trade embargoes, having to buy rice from the West for $7 a bag, and they can't sell their own rice that they produce here for any money. They can't even buy their own rice on their own continent. What kind of madness is that? So we need to be able to raise the next generation of leaders, producers, engineers, scientists, language speakers, mathematicians, geniuses. That's what time it is. And we know, you know, and I know that once our children are given a fair and competitive edge, they will fly and they will flourish. And the reason why I've chosen Ghana is because this is where I am. And two, because if we don't do it outside of the belly of the beast, we're going to continue to be wasting time firefighting. We all get exhausted and worn out because of the fact that we have to keep fighting against the system to be able to do the basic things that we do use to nurture our children. So if we're not there in the first place, the one thing your child is not going to have to put up with is racism. So that's the reason why. And not to say that it's only in Ghana. Right now I'm in the central region. I want to spread this out across the central region, and then we start spreading out across the continent. I know people who have land and things in Tanzania, in Uganda, in Zimbabwe. Actually, I've got my own land in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Kenya, in Sierra Leone. So there's no shortage of places that we can actually expand this model. But Ghana right now is going to be our template. I'm on the ground here. I can see what's going on. I understand things much better than when I first came here. And I'm glad I've taken my time to do that rather than rush into doing something and we regret it later. Especially when I'm dealing with other people's money. Oh, no one ain't got time for that. So, along with the vision, now one of the things I saw, because I've been doing the feeding program, as I said, I went out and bought loads of toys and gave them to young people because I don't see toys here. And another thing, well, you see toys in Accra, but you know when you go pound shop and you see the toys that you just dash with, that's what you see. And even down to dolls, they're all white. So there's nothing reflective of the African child, their culture and their heritage on a day-to-day basis. Even in the school system, it's based on the UK education system. And the school system is based on the UK education system. And then the only books you see are religious books around Christianity or maybe Islam. There's not much else out there to expand one's creativity or their mind. So, with that, I said we need to open a museum, first of all. Why? When you're already on the motherland. But when you're on the motherland, you don't see anything You don't experience anything. One of the things I did when people came over for my birthday in September is I brought most of the people down to one of the palaces near where I was staying. And they got to meet one of the kings. They got to take photo opportunities with the kings. They got to understand the lineage of how they became kings, etc., etc. So the reason why I want to open a museum, and I think it's imperative to open a museum on the continent for us, by us, is I have access to the overall Ashanti king in Ghana, the overall Ashanti king. So all the kings in this place need to respond. If he says jump, they say how high. He is a powerhouse. They say he's even more powerful than the president. I don't know how true that is, but hey, I will go with that side right now. Now, I want to be able to replicate his gold, how he dresses, what he wears, the cloth, the meaning behind the cloth, the meaning behind the symbols. I want our children to sit down and listen to the oral storytelling, to be able to even take notes, to be part of going and visiting the palace, part of the royal household, part of understanding who we are and what looks like them. Because right now, the only person they're seeing is that demon who lives in Buckingham Palace, who claims to be the queen, and with all of our golden artifacts. Our children need to identify and see. Let me give you a quick one. When one of my friends came over and she had her children with her, there was two of them that came with their children, but one in particular, and she had a son, and he at the time was 9, he's 10 now, and he's a little thing, and he stood next to the king, and the look on his face was literally like, am I standing next to a whole king? Oh my God, he was in absolute awe. Imagine when your children come here, and even if you don't want to send your child out here to come to school full time and you only want to send them for a summer program, or if you in the UK want to come here and do a summer program every year with the children, whatever it takes, but we must bring our children, because that look and expression on that young man's face told me everything I needed to know as to why we're doing this. Because if they have that and then they come back to the belly of the beast, them Chesaga Alt, they're going to walk so proudly of who they are and where they come from. So when they're in school talking about, oh, well, the slave trade, and that's the only place where you've come from, and they can say, well, no, that was part of our journey. That was your journey that you inflicted on us. However, my legacy and my lineage looks like this, looks like her. Yai Santua, Queen Nzinga, Harriet Tubman, Nanny of the Maroons. You know, we can go on and on and on. Now, the beauty is that, and I know I'm talking a lot about the museum, but I'm coming, don't worry. The beauty about that is that from once we start replicating, is all we want to do is replicate his gold, the golden stool, what they wear, what they used to wear, artifacts and things, and put them in our own museum and tell our own story. Bring our children down to the beach, which is just over there. Bring them to other kings and kingdoms around Ghana so that they can sit with the kings and actually hear about things, see the protocol, see them dressed up, see them attending funerals, see them attending weddings and whatever else that needs to be done. That gives our children a competitive edge in itself. Because if they are filled with something that makes them feel good, not always listening to a teacher telling them that they're no good, that they're only a slave, they've never contributed to society, when we know different. So that's the reason behind and the rationale behind the museum. Secondly, we have the library. As I said, is that the only books here that I've seen available en masse is books, the Bible, the Quran, books about Christianity, how to be a good Christian, etc., etc. Now, whatever your religious belief is none of my business. However, our children need to be able to expand their knowledge base. If we want to create the next generation of leaders, whether that is in the creative field or that is in the STEM field, then we need to give them books. We need to arm them with as much international information as possible. Why did I say that? Because being here is like being in a bubble. Do you know that even with, I have 3 mobile phones out here and 5 telephone numbers. It's a bit much, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 telephone numbers. 3 of them are Ghanaian. Now, I have one phone that is strictly Ghanaian. Do you know that with that Ghanaian phone, when I try and access UK websites, I cannot. UK and American websites, it is blocked. They block so much information here to make sure that people do not have access to a world view and a world perspective. Everything is local. The only news you'll probably get here outside is BBC World Service, and we all know what the BBC is like. So the information is not being passed down. So it is imperative that we're getting textbooks, that we're getting different books, not just based around Britishness and the empire. No, we're not interested in that. But we need them to have books to expand their mind. When you ask the average Ghanaian who Marcus Garvey is, who Malcolm X is, who Patrice Lumumba, they know a little about that, but not enough. This is where they need to understand us as a people from a global perspective, and they need to be able to study the craft and the arts that they want to go into. Okay, so that's the reason for the library. Now, one of the things I notice here, illiteracy amongst adults is a huge issue. Most adults cannot read or write because education at one point cost money, and they couldn't afford to go and get educated. So the library will double up as a learning centre. We will want to kit it out with computers as well, and story time on a Saturday morning for the children, or Saturday afternoon because they'll be in Saturday school, but Saturday afternoon, and just different activities that we know go on or used to happen with our children growing up in the UK. We need to replicate that, because a lot of these children, well, I haven't seen a library since I've been here, put it that way. So we need a library, and that library needs to be multifaceted and multi-used and multi-utilised for different things, for training, for training children, for classes, language classes, doing online classes with those of you in the UK and those of us here. Like, all of these things will be possible within the library. The school will also have a main hall. I didn't even get to tell you the different things in the school. Let me go back, sorry. See, I've tried to write it down, but I even forgot to write it down. So within the school, you're going to have the science lab, technology lab, engineering, drama studio, but you're going to have a main hall. We're going to have a meditation room and a sensory room as well. Because even though I know we're not in the belly of the beast being here, we still need to teach our children how and when to have downtime, how to shut down and just be, how to just be cool and not have to be rushing around. And, you know, because I don't want it to get so technology focused that then we become like what we're trying to get away from. But there needs to be a downtime, and there needs to be a sensory room, because we're also going to have children here who may have sensory needs. And I want them to be included just like everybody else, and them to have a safe space to go and reflect. We're also going to have a counselling room. We're going to have a support network for young girls, because they're just like the Caribbean. There is, to me, a problem with the exploitation of young girls here by older men. But that's a whole different subject for a whole nother day. But I thought I'll just drop the nugget in for you. So yeah, the science labs, the technology suites, the engineering suites, and whatever the engineering is, we go and build it. If we need cars, we need to learn how to build cars. We want airplanes, we need to learn how to build airplanes. We want refrigeration units, we want aircon, we want solar panels, because the school will have solar panels on it as well, so we don't have to rely on the Ghanaian electricity system cutting out every 5 minutes. Eco-friendly gardening, teaching our children how to grow food. All of these things are imperative life skills, sewing classes, everything will be available. And the main hall will double up as a theatre and a wedding hire venue, because it makes sense to be able to bring in some money. There's no point having a building sitting empty 2 weekends or in the evening. We double that up and we hire it out for weddings, funerals, christenings, whatever events it is, and it will look nice, fully air conditioned. We'll make sure we have a projector screen, etc., etc. So that's just giving you that. One of the other areas, there was the school, museum, library, factory. Now this came to me later on. Now there's a sister, I don't know if she wants me to mention her yet, but you'll see at a later stage, who does dolls. And she also came out with her cute and gorgeous little daughter, and came to the palace and was telling me what she wants to do. Why? And right now she's currently producing her dolls in China, because she can't find anywhere else competitive enough to be able to produce them. So I said, well, we're here. And she said, well, what am I doing? I goes, well, let's do this. So she is now, what we're going to do is find a way of utilizing these plastic bottles. Plastic bags and bottles are a problem. All over the street is littered with plastic bottles and bags. We need to find a way of being able to utilize the recycling of these plastic bottles and bags to open a factory to make the dolls, make cars, make toys, make footballs, whatever it is. We need to produce it. We need to produce it in our own factory. Thus giving employment to local people, bringing them out of poverty or whatever lifestyle that they're in, and, you know, generating and regenerating the area that we're in. Because there's no point us coming from England with our grand ideas into a community and the people that live in the community aren't benefiting. And just so you know, for the school, those that are here that cannot afford to send their children to school will not pay. Those coming from the UK, yeah, you will pay. We're building dormitories for the school, so we're going to sleep 30 per dorm, or I'm not sure if we're going to single it out to just individual 2 rooms, or we're just going to have major dormitories, one for the boys, one for the girls, an area for our teachers to sleep, security to sleep, and what else is there that is in the school grounds? And the school grounds will be in a community, but not. It will be in like a community of itself. The museum and library will be almost next door, not too far. So, in a nutshell, this is where we're at. This is what I've been doing. I've been making some great connections. Hold on, let me have a sip. I've been making some great connections. And, you know I haven't really been pushing the campaign, but I have been very busy. I was supposed to sit down over the Christmas and do stuff, but I decided to have a good time. I'm going to be honest. And now we're in 2022. I'm knuckling back down to the work, and actually I will make a huge effort to keep you more updated as to where you're, because it just seems like you guys have paid your money and you haven't heard from me since, and I can only apologize for that. But I am very grateful for all of you. I saw some names on that list I haven't seen in years, and those that I haven't expected to see, so I appreciate all of your support from everybody. Please keep giving, because it is needed. And, you know, I'm not using that money to do the things on the Saturday school or the feeding program. That's coming out of my own money, which is what I get from the Black Child Agenda. So that basically funds me here, and also funds the programs that we're doing and all the staff that are there. If you want to donate towards the Saturday school and the books and the feeding program and the teachers or whatever it may be, please do. Please feel free. I'm not going to say no. So I hope that brings you up to date. If you have any questions, please email me, info@theafricanchildagenda.org, where I'll be happy to respond. Let me have a look at what else I have written down, just in case I've forgotten anything. No, I think that's it. I think that one of the things that I love is really about our children seeing kings. And I call them kings because, you know, in the UK they call them chiefs. But when I really read up the Fanti and Asante Akan culture, they were all called kings until the British came here and decided to try and demote them through their jealousy to chiefs. Well, let's start calling them kings, what they actually are. So until next time, please follow my socials. Instagram is at the African Child Agenda, and you've also got the Black Child Agenda. You've also got Cheryl Phoenix 999, where they are banning me. They've actually banned and they closed down my main Cheryl Phoenix Facebook account. I have opened another one which has at least 3 million followers, but it is what it is. I'm not sending them my passport or driving license. They can kiss my... I'm trying to be good. You know, so that's gone, but I've set up another Cheryl Phoenix page, profile, so please go on it. And within there we also have the African Child Agenda profile. I've restarted the Black Child Agenda on the Facebook as well. I've created a new group which is called the Black Child Agenda Update, because I also share information in there as well. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope everybody's doing well. I know that a few of you have contracted COVID and are doing fine, so good on you, because if I was to believe the government data and what they're sending out, and the fact that I'm in a bubble out here, like I said, I don't see the nonsense that you guys are bombarded with morning, noon and night. The only time I saw it was when I turned on BBC Dirty World Service, and all day was COVID this, giving 3-year-olds vaccines, updating vaccines every 6 months, this. And could keep your things. And no, you don't need a vaccine to get into Ghana. Till the next time, take care, give care.